This is Sprngweather here. I'm going to show you some basic Navy gunning. I'm not an ultimate gunner, I'm a legendary gunner, so you'll probably see some excellence, some incredibles. I took the navigating with the Navy mission, which many people don't realize you can actually do other puzzles other than navigating with. The first thing you need to do though is cancel the mission. Before you cancel the mission, you don't have access to the gunning stations and the other stations, but now you do since I canceled. Alright, first thing you'll notice that all 4 cannons are loaded. That's because the ship was probably used right beforehand for the defeating the brigands mission. So I can just go on the station, and then I'll leave the station, and then from this point on the cannons will be empty. Sometimes you'll come on and you'll see just some of the cannons being dirty again. Same thing, it was used for the defeating the brigands mission beforehand. Alright, so I'm gonna load some cannons here. I like to look for boards that I can easily load 2 cannons on. That last board was actually pretty good, but I left it before I noticed. Okay, this is not a very good board, so I'm going to leave it. And it's important to leave a board pretty quickly. All you're looking for is a board where you can load at least 2 cannons pretty easily. It's not important to load all 4. My items got stuck up there, so I'm going to free them and then continue along my way. This board actually turned out not to be as good as I hoped it was. Since I can load all 4 fairly easily on this board, I'm going to do that. Now I've already messed up a little bit, and that's okay. The important thing is when you mess up not to freak out and just keep going on. Alright. Okay, normally on a board like this with the Navy, I'll only load 2 cannons, but I'll show you how to load all 4 pretty easily on a board like this with the Navy. This is a very useful technique to use when pillaging, because when pillaging you really don't have the capabilities often to load just 2 cannons at a time. When we leave this lead point, this one should be loaded and then we can leave. Yep. Okay, technically this is a 2-hour board. We can load all 4 pretty easily on it, so I'll do that. I'm just going to do the bottom 2 first, and then I'll have it loop around the rest of the board. I'm having it just go around the top half instead of all 4 cannons, just because it'll make the time in which it'll take me to load all the items faster, or shorter. However, that certainly is not necessary to do. And again, this board, we can easily loop around all 4. I'm just looping around 2 because it makes a shorter loop and hence it'll be faster. And as you notice here, I'm messing up quite a lot, but I'm still legendary guns. My standing hasn't gone down. So you don't have to do perfect loads, in other words, in order to be a legendary gunner. To be an ultimate gunner, yeah, you probably need to have pretty perfect loads. But as you see here, I still got incredible even with the several mistakes I made. As you can see there, a cannonball and a powder have gotten stuck at the top. I'm just going to ignore that because I still have enough items to go around. I have at least 1 of each item to go around, and since I'm just loading 2, I can deal with that. It's also important to note that whenever something hits the wall, whenever an item hits a wall, it goes right. If it can't go right, then it will go left. If it can't go left, then it will go backwards. It'll go back the way it came. As you can see there, actually on that very last load, an item actually went right through an arrow. That happens sometimes. It's just a little buggy. You just got to deal with it and expect that that's going to happen occasionally. I purposely didn't take the station right away because we're at a leak point and I didn't want the leak point to confuse me. The great thing is though, is if I want to see how I did on that last leak, I can just press escape when I'm outside of the puzzle and it will show me. Actually, if I press escape while in the puzzle, it will show me as well, but I'd rather look at it afterwards. So I got excellent, which is perfectly acceptable. I'm just going to load a few more cannons and then we'll end this video. Okay, this is actually a great example of how to, this is a great board, uh, this is not a good board, but it's an interesting example of a few things that we can show you here. As you can see, I can load 2 cannons pretty easily, but there are dead ends for the rest of them. You could still load all 4 cannons fairly easy, however, just by doing something like this, if you don't mess up like I've been. My timing's a little off because the video is making this kind of choppy, but as you can see, that was still pretty easy. One of the hardest things to learn when you're first learning how to gun is just to be able to identify the best method to go around the barrels quickly. If you go back and you look at the last board, I realized at the end that really only needed 1 arrow to circle the bottom 2 cannons, not 2. But, you know, you just got to be fast. You're not always going to find the best. Very often I think a board's a 1 arrow board when actually it's a 0 arrow board. Okay, this will be the last one. And again, normally when gunning with the Navy, I would only load 2 cannons, but I'll show you how to load all 4 again one more time on this. This is more useful when gunning on a pillage, because often on a pillage, even though you can board hunt a little bit, you can't really find the perfect boards often. Especially if you're gunning on something like a brig, where you might have to load several cannons at a time. Alright, well, I hope you learned something from this video, and we just got to port. Alright, and happy gunning to y'all.